There are 6 proposed constitutional amendments on the November 8 ballot, and I strongly urge you to be prepared and know how you're going to vote on those before you go into the voting booth. Now, Amendment number 1 simply allows new standards for education and for professional background for registrars of voters. And the registrars are the people who keep track of the voting lists in each parish. A vote for Amendment 1 would allow new standards to be set in statute that would create higher levels of professional and educational experience for new hires for registrars of voters all across the state. A vote against would simply leave the same standards in place. Amendment number 2 would allow the college boards in Louisiana to set tuition and fees. Right now, that authority belongs to the legislature only with a 2/3 vote. A vote yes on Amendment number 2 would allow the college management boards to set tuition and fees, and a vote against, a vote no on number 2, would allow the authority to remain with the legislature as it is now. Amendment number 3 would take away corporations' ability to write off their federal tax bill on their state income tax return, thereby increasing their taxable income. But it would also trigger a 6.5% flat corporate tax rate for all corporations. And that would be lower than the 8% high rate that we have now. A vote yes for Amendment number 3 would eliminate the corporation's federal deduction on their state tax return, but also it would trigger a 6.5% flat rate, a little less than the overall high rate that we have right now. A vote against Amendment number 3 would leave the system as it is now with several brackets all the way up to 8% on corporate taxation, and would continue to allow corporations to take their federal tax deduction. Amendment number 4 would allow spouses of people who were killed in the line of duty, either in the military or as police or firefighters. It would give them the ability to write off the full value of their home as an exemption for their property taxes. A vote yes would allow widows or widowers whose spouse was killed in the line of duty, either through firefighting or police work or the military, to be able to take that full exemption on their house for property tax purposes. And a vote against number 4 would keep the same system in place. And right now, military widows or widowers can take a $150,000 exemption on their home. Amendment number 5 would deal with the very large surges that sometimes come in corporate revenue and oil and gas mineral revenue. And what it would do is it would cut off the top of those surges and place that money into special spending funds so that it couldn't be used in the state operating budget. That's fundamentally what it does. A vote yes for Amendment number 5 would create a new fund that'll piggyback on our existing rainy day fund, and it would take monies that are surging in economic cycles for oil and gas or for corporate income, and it would take that money and put it into special spending priorities such as writing off the state pension and infrastructure projects. A vote against number 5 would keep the same system in place. We would still have a rainy day fund, but some very large increases in our oil and gas revenue and corporate revenue could go into the operating budget. Amendment number 6 deals with situations in which the state is expecting lower revenue from taxes in the upcoming year, and how are we going to handle that? What Amendment number 6 would do is it would say we're going to make an easier trigger to go and tap into protected funds to help pay those operating costs. That's what Amendment number 6 would do. It would also protect put added protection on 5 very important funds that are already in the Constitution. A vote yes for number 6 would create a new trigger to make it a little bit easier to tap into protected funds to put into the operating budget. And a vote against number 6 would leave the same process in place that we have now, where you can still tap these protected funds, but not quite as easily as you could or often as you could with Amendment number 6. Well, I hope you'll be prepared when you go into the voting booth so that you'll know whether you're going to vote yes or no on these amendments. I would advise you to go to our website at parlouisiana.org. That's the Public Affairs Research Council of Louisiana. On our website, you'll see both a printable version of our amendment guide, and you also see a phone version, a mobile phone version that's very easy to use. We don't tell you how to vote, we just tell you what the background is and what these do so you can make up your own mind. So good luck at the polls.